Hey, welcome to our series of videos that are going to talk you through the practical aspects of recording some EEG data. We are in our lab where we actually record EEG data from. We're just going to give you a broad overview here of the process of setting up a participant and recording some data, and then we're going to go through some more detailed information of the precise steps that we take when we're setting up a participant and recording data.
Yes, so in this lab, so I think just a general kind of overview of the lab setup is what we'll do first. So the participant will come in and we'll say welcome, and they'll have a seat, and we'd use this as just a kind of a preparation area. And as John said, we'll talk you through exactly how to prepare a participant when it comes to the electrodes and putting them on and so on. Due to social distancing, we haven't got a participant today, so we'll just have to pretend. And we prepare them here, and then put the EEG cap on, and when they're kind of ready with that, we'll take them into one of our booths. And before we kind of show you the booths, we might want to say just a bit about the setup of how EEG is recorded.
Yes, well, in this lab we've got two separate recording booths. And those recording booths are sound attenuated, so we can record simultaneously from the two booths two different participants doing two different experiments if we like. They are not unlike some labs, and was more common a few years ago, 5-10 years ago. They are not Faraday cages. Faraday cages would insulate from any electrical noise as well. These are just sound attenuated.
Yeah, so that just means that we can have a participant doing their experiment in one booth and another one in there, and they don't get distracted. That's essentially what it means.
Yeah.
These are essentially a couple of computers. But this is the way a typical lab is set up. So what we have here is we have one computer, and this is showing the actual experiment. So this is what the participant does, and this is mirrored inside. We'll have a look in a little bit. So this is showing the task. This is running kind of a visual task for the participant to do some responses. And on this computer here, this is where the actual EEG is recorded. And again, we haven't got a recording on now because of social distancing. So this is what it would look like. Each one of these is just one electrode, and you get these squiggly lines. So continuous recording here, and then you have a computer, another one here, which presents the stimuli. These two need to communicate with each other. That's very important, because you need to know exactly when, for example, a coil has been presented. That needs to be exactly told to this computer and make a little marker. We'll come back to that in another recording as well. But these are so this is where the experimenter will be sitting, the recorder if you want, the experimenter, and then they are linked. So if John opens up the cubicle,
so our participant, who would have been set up on the outside here and have their EEG cap placed on the head and ready to go, will be sitting inside this sound attenuated booth. Importantly, we have a glass pane, so we can look straight through and make sure that the participant is okay if we need to. In here, the participant is seeing the same images that you saw on the outside, right? This is what's being presented to the participant, and they're being asked to engage in a particular cognitive task. This experiment's a memory task, and they're being asked whether or not they remember seeing a certain image. We also have the amplifier in here. The amplifier connects directly to the electrodes attached to the participant's head, and that's it. We want to keep things as simple as possible in this booth, as few things as possible, as few electrical things as possible, to avoid interference with the EEG recording, and just to keep it simple for the participant. So they have a keyboard in case they need to respond, and they're presented with the stimulus. Everything else runs through a little hole at the bottom down there. The cables and the electricity run through that hole and connect to the recording computer and to the stimulus presentation computer. All that's here is the display and the amplifier to connect to the electrodes.
I think, I mean, without actually having a participant in, I think that's basically what we can show you.
Yeah, we're now going to shoot another video and show you in a little bit more detail the process of setting up a participant, the critical information that you need to keep in mind when recording data, and setting up electrodes on a participant's head.
Cool.
Catch you in the next video.